me going into the rap world was me going to the other side of the tracks and going into like the underworld.
From that underworld, he forged a 20-year career in music. He toured the country, built a business. He had made it on his own terms, and then it was all gone.
The pandemic hits, and they pretty much ended concerts.
With his dream brought to a halt, he turned on a camera with no plan, no experience, and built something bigger than he ever imagined.
I should be sitting here, a multi-platinum rapper, a gold rapper, talking about, yo, this is my rap career. I'm more of a platinum YouTuber at this point with what I'm earning.
But just as his new life was taking off, he made a mistake that nearly got him erased from the internet.
All right, folks, so we want to take a quick minute to introduce our diamond sponsor, Chris Seegers with Exceptional Business Advisors. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your business, sir?
Man, a question that we love to ask our potential clients is, do you know what your business is worth? And if you sold your business today, would it fulfill your personal and financial goals? If you're a successful business owner, but you don't know when or how to sell your business, and if you've ever wondered what each additional day in your business is actually costing you, we'd love to chat. If you're ready to spend more time with your family, your friends, or traveling, come sit down with our team, because when you work with exceptional business advisors, we'll help you build a blueprint to sell your business successfully and help you create, capture, and achieve your dream life. Don't wait for the right time. The time's now. Go ahead and scan the QR code or book a discovery appointment at excoadvisors.com.
Now let's get back to the show. Welcome back to the COS Business Podcast, the #1 business podcast in Colorado.
Yes, sirree. And today's sponsor is Awesome Home Services. It's actually awesomeservice.com.
You probably see their vans driving around.
Yes.
So today we have on an amazing guest, and I say that about all my guests, but today we have a great guest who's done some great things here in Colorado Springs and in Colorado, paving the way for a lot of people in the hip hop scene, making the connections, doing awesome stuff. We got on Robert Houston, AKA Black Pegasus. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good, man.
Thank you for having me on. It's dope to be here.
Yeah, man. We're excited. Yeah.
I saw your guys' podcast. I don't even know how, because it wasn't because of I saw it organically, and I'm a YouTube person now. Like, I'm just obsessed with YouTube.
You're a YouTuber now.
Yeah, and I think it was your guest. We were just talking about him, and there was something about the title that I was like, what? I just didn't know someone from Colorado was doing what he was doing. And I'm like, my eldest daughter loves like the Mr. Beast type of content.
Oh, yeah.
So I was just like, this is super cool. And then I was watching, I'm like, they're in the Springs, get the out of here.
Yeah.
I was just freaking out. So shout out to you guys. That's super cool, man.
I was excited to find someone doing something like that too. It was like, I didn't even know it. You never know. Like, who else is out there? Come and see us.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Yeah. So, man. So tell us, like, let's go all the way back to how your hip hop career started. I want to dive into that a little bit.
I was about to be like, in 1980, there was a hospital bin. You know what I'm saying? 40. Anyways, all right. So my hip hop career. So this is what's crazy. My hip hop career parallels my content creation career. And I didn't realize that until recently. I started digitizing archive footage. And when I was a youngster, I'm guessing around 12, I started making Kung Fu movies because I'm a fanatic of martial arts. Like I still train to this day. And so I started making martial arts movies. But as I hit like 13, 14 and the rap started sinking in, I started doing these imitation rap videos. Like I was like a short person and like just acting out Mac 10 videos. And so like, that is literally the start of, if I really want to go back to my content creation and rap career, imitating what I saw on MTV. And at that time it was mainly gangster rap, like heavily influenced by like the Biggies, the Pacs, the Wu-Tang Clan, NWA, Friday. The movie Friday had such a big impact on me. So we're emulating that in our own home movies with a handy cam that I still actually have. So that's super cool to go back and see. But essentially my dad had a record player. My homie DJ Dennis brought a record, and we played the B-side, which was an instrumental, and we would all just kind of freestyle and BS. And it just, that was kind of the very beginning phase of what would become my rap career without me knowing it. Just kids having fun in the basement, acting out things that we saw on television.
That's cool. They put the instrumentals on the B side.
Yeah. The record would have the singles would have the single on the A side, the B side be the instrumental with a lot of the hip hop records at that time. The first beats, I think it was like Real MFing G's by Eazy-E.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you think they did that intentionally to inspire a whole new, set of people?
I really don't know because, records were a little bit before me. I was more of like cassettes and CDs. So records are my dad's thing. When I look at records, he has full albums. So full albums are packaged different than singles, but typically on singles, they would have an A side, a B side, and the B side would have a B side song and sometimes the instrumental. But I think it was just a variation. But I think instrumentals were for the DJs, so they could mix the records when they're DJing live and blend them and
so
stuff
much
like
sense.
that.
Yeah.
So
Wow, that's so incredible. And just kind of even more background, like were you born in like a military family? Because I know you were born in Germany. So talk about that too. And I'm assuming when all this happens, Kung Fu and getting into hip hop and gangster rap, that's when you moved to Colorado Springs too, originally, right?
So my father was in the Air Force as a firefighter for 21 years. And I was born on the Air Force Base Landstuhl, Germany. So I was born there. We were there for just a little bit of time after my birth. Then we came back to America. My brother was born in Arizona. We were stationed in Florida. And we went back to Germany when I was about, I'm guessing 4 to like 8 years old.
Wow.
And then we came here. My dad decided to retire here when I was like 9 or 10-ish. Give me some grace on the time period breakdown, but it's around those times. And my dad, I just remember being with my dad, and because he's from Harlem, New York, and seeing a Bruce Lee clip and just idolizing Bruce Lee since I was like 4 years old, like super young. I've been into martial arts for a very long time, way longer than rap. I got introduced to rap by hearing Vanilla Ice on the one radio station in Germany, AFN. They only had one radio station, so it's very limited, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, what is this? And I just kind of liked it. But I wasn't a music kid. I was just always into like, we'd run around, make ninja outfits. We made our own nunchucks out of mop sticks and the dog chain. So like I really was like for a big percentage of my life just consumed with martial arts, like buying black belt magazines and stuff like that for a very long time.
That's awesome. And I mean, during pop culture at that time, I mean, you had like the karate, there's like a lot of things coming out, right? Karate Kid came out at that time, right?
It was different. It was more impactful to the culture because you had Van Damme, Chuck Norris, Bruce Lee, then you get into your Steven Seagals, and it just kept going. And, you think about these movies like Bloodsport, and it was just like, there was a big impact on the culture from that stuff. And we were really into that.
Wow. So that was really your first love. I wasn't even expecting that. And so I kind of want to go back to that a little bit more, just like talking about, because it was a big part of your life. Mm-hmm. So did you train martial arts here in Colorado? I mean, all around probably, but Colorado Springs too. Did you visit local dojos here too? Or
So it's really interesting that you asked that, because this is a very unique piece of my story. So my me going into the rap world was me going to the other side of the tracks and going into like the underworld and like hanging out with gang members and stuff. And that came because when my dad retired, he started with like lower paying jobs because he was going to college, getting it covered by the military and going to college for computers and stuff. So my mom had to go back in the workforce. Long story short, at a certain point, I think I was about 13 or 14, they couldn't afford to keep me in karate here in Springs. And so when I got out of karate and then I wasn't playing basketball anymore, I was really angry and rebellious about that. And I just started gravitating, me and my homies were gravitating to rap, gravitating to street culture. Like gangster rap was like at its inception at that time. And so like it just kind of took over, and I went to more of a street life, doing a lot of dumb, immature stuff. A lot of like, I speak like the, hi guys, ha ha ha. Like, but I was really like I was never a gang member, but I was affiliated at some capacity. And so that just led down a lot of different dark stuff, a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of street stuff, violence. And that's what, and so I'm telling you that to tell you this, rap pulled me out of that. So I started trying to live the culture that I would hear. But when I started to engage in rap, freestyling at parties, and when I went to a recording studio, Illinois studio here in the Springs, and started recording, it changed my life. I was like, all of the money that I was making from telemarketing and hustling on the side went into buying beats, recording, and I got obsessed with the art of making rap music instead of the lifestyle. And that's kind of a quick version of how things kind of played out for me. But yes, martial arts was my first love. Absolutely. It changed my life. I was like, all of the money that I was making from telemarketing and hustling on the side went into buying beats, recording, and I got obsessed with the art of making rap music instead of the lifestyle. And that's kind of a quick version of how things kind of played out for me. But yes, martial arts was my first love. Absolutely.
We'd like to take a quick break and thank our sponsors.
Junkin' Hall.
Need to clear out clutter fast?
Junkin' Hall is Colorado Springs' go-to for same-day junk removal.
With the eco-friendly service and a 5-star team you can trust.
Visit junkinhall.com to schedule your free estimate today. That's JUNKNHAUL.com.
Bolton Co. Executive Coaching.
Up feels better than stuck. You know that. But in this market, how do you get unstuck and get ahead as an executive?
Our guy JB is an executive coach at Bolton Co. Coaching, where he believes you don't have to change who you are. You just need an injection of effectiveness and a proven competitive edge roadmap for your way up. Head to boltonco.net. That's boltonco.net. Be Our Guest Getaways. Be Our Guest Getaways specializes in Disney cruise resort and theme park vacations.
Planning a Disney vacation can be stressful. Let Be Our Guest Getaways provide you with concierge-level service for free.
Learn more at beourguestgetaways.com. That's beourguestgetaways.com.
Planet Duct. Planet Duct is the #1 choice for professional air duct cleaning in Colorado Springs and Southern Colorado. With state-of-the-art equipment and top-tier service, they make sure the air in your home or business is clean and allergen-free. Breathe easier with Planet Duct. Learn more at planetduct.com.
Awesome Home Services. Awesome Home Services delivers top-notch HVAC solutions for your home. Whether you need heating, cooling, or system maintenance, they ensure your comfort year-round. Visit awesomeservice.com for your HVAC needs. That's awesomeservice.com.
Proud American Electrical and Solar.
Give Proud American Electrical and Solar a call today for all your electrical and solar needs. They are locally owned and operated business right here in Colorado Springs. If you're looking for information on solar, this is the company you will want to call. Check out their website at proudamericansolar.com. Use promo code COSBusiness for a 5% discount today.
Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care.
Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care offers affordable, accessible healthcare with a focus on you. They provide exceptional primary care without the hassle of insurance barriers. Experience a patient-centered approach. Learn more at pinnacleapc.com.
And now let's get back to the show. And going back to like when you were first discovering hip hop and your love for it, was there a moment of external validation? Obviously, like you fell in love with it pretty quickly, but was there a moment where you're doing something where you're putting yourself out there and someone's like, holy crap, dude, like you're super good. Like, was there that moment for you?
So my whole claim to fame, the thing that changed the trajectory of my career locally was I would freestyle battle rap. And I got so good at it. At one point I got laid off of my job. So I started collecting unemployment. And to pay all of my bills, I collected unemployment, and I had to win a battle every weekend because you'd win $350 in Pueblo, in Boulder, in Fort Collins, in Denver. And I would do a circuit in battle rap, almost like comedians on a circuit. And I would win every weekend, and unemployment and those victory cash prizes is how I paid all my bills for a long time.
Wow.
So I got so good. Now, this is the day of improv, not written battles. So if you go back and watch it, it's a little corny. It's not as good as like a Harry Mack. You know, there's all this elevation that's happened through time. But essentially, that led me, I just went out on a whim. The biggest rap battle in the world, I believe at the time, was in Ohio. It was called Scribble Jam. And they'd put out these DVDs, you know, Slug from Atmosphere, Brother Ali, Mac Lethal, ADM, you know, all these people are in it, and it's just blowing up. And so I sent in a submission, and they accepted me. So I went to that battle, and I battled in Scribble Jam. I used an alias because while I was battling on the circuit here as Black Pegasus, one of these dudes, this dude named Mike Jones, was just killing it with, he's like, I'd never a rapper. What is Dungeon and Dragon's name? And like all these lines were like really hitting. And so I changed. I'd use an alias, Yo Mama's Pimp, because it was just so hard to like rebuttal. And so I ran with that, and then I went to Scribble Jam and under that moniker. And overall, I ended up like the kid from nowhere, Colorado. Like people don't even look at Colorado for hip hop at the time. It's like, oh, that's a country western place. There's no Mary Jane scene like there is now and stuff like that. So essentially, I go there and I end up getting second place. So like my childhood freestyle rap influence, MC Juice, Supernatural, and Idea. Those are my total like influences, and like, oh my gosh, We're Not Worthy. MC Juice was in the battle, and I ended up beating him in the semifinals, and then in the final I battled Rhymefest. And Rhymefest is he ghostwrites for Kanye West. He wrote Jesus Walks. So like when I came home, that's the other thing. MC Juice beat Eminem in the original Scribble Jam, and in that footage, the light-skinned dude with the white t-shirt who actually beats Eminem in a freestyle battle, that's MC Juice. So when I came back home, it was crazy. Like getting radio interviews, shows, my career took off, and I recorded an album. But that was the moment that changed my life. Like I was like solidified. Hey, you are a rapper. I came home, and that was the funny thing. The urban legend was that I beat Eminem. And it was just because I beat Juice, who had beat Eminem. And back then, rumors, and there's no social media, there's no fact checking. So like a lot of people still to this day be like, yo, he beat Eminem. I'm like, bruh, calm that down. That's never happened. I've never, you know what I'm saying? But that was my kind of critical moment and a huge change in the trajectory of my career.
That's awesome, man.
That's crazy. And like, talk about that even more about like, this is like you were saying, pre-social media.
Yeah.
So like those types of things hold a lot of weight, and people just can't really understand how they hold that much weight without someone posting all these things from all over the world. Social media is so big, so fast. But there was a lot of weight behind just like word of mouth back then.
Yes, it was powerful. And there were moments. So there, it used to be the Thirsty Parrot. I don't know what it is now, but it was 32 Blue back in the day.
Mhm.
And me and my buddies would headline that venue and sell 500 tickets just to see us. So much that our group was called FOS, Focus on Skills or Fusion of Syllables. And we tracked on Polestar for our concerts.
Wow.
And we were just like local guys. And we got really popular here, Denver, Boulder, Fort Collins. And, I just kind of crushed it here. And then I started being able to tour nationally. Then I started touring internationally. And, I've had for being an underground indie rapper, like I've had a pretty colorful career, to say the least.
How does that go when you start touring outside of your home state of Colorado, or even within Colorado? Because you got Red Rocks, you got these amazing venues here, and then also going national, international. Like, talk about the feelings as you're kind of progressing through that, because I'm sure there's a lot of nerves, a lot of anxiety. Maybe not. Maybe there's a lot of ignorance on fire back then. Talk about those.
To this
times.
day, I get nervous when I get on stage. That's just like, it means it's important to me.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, I think of it and I just got goosebumps because essentially I'm living my dream. And that's all I ever wanted, was to tour and be out there. It's spontaneous. And at this time, you're meeting new fans, you're creating new fans, you're doing what you love, you're meeting chicks. Like, it's just like a crazy life. And it was dope. And I was very resourceful because what I did was I created a network in Colorado. So I would tour in Colorado. So I'd perform in Springs, Denver, Boulder, Fort Collins, Durango, Breckenridge, Aspen, Grand Junction, sometimes Telluride, sometimes Crested Butte. So like I had this network that I was just building and touring hardcore and becoming more popular. Now, disclaimer, I never made that much money. It was like enough money to get by. I was like in a bunch of debt, ordering merchandise, CDs, but I figured out how to live off of rapping for about 2 decades, give or take, But yeah, it was super exciting. Man, the stories, I'm gonna flash you guys with some crazy stories, but I'm not gonna go into crazy depth. So I did the last show with ODB in Fort Collins. He performed. He was super faded. He fell off the stage. The next night we performed in Breckenridge. He had to perform in a chair, and then he flew back to New York. If you look up those stories, he passed away. He was supposed to perform in Aspen with us the next day. I've driven around the RZA from Wu-Tang all through Colorado. He put me on to Paul Mooney. I've driven around Slick Rick. I've seen behind the eye patch. I brought Rakim to the Springs. I became pretty good friends with Immortal Technique at some point, and I was there at some capacity when the feds raided him in Denver. Like just like a bunch of like like you imagine it, you know, like there's been so
What
many
about like
cool
just
stories.
recently 36 Mafia, right?
Yeah.
Here
I
in the
just
Springs.
opened. I think we did the first all rap concert at the new venue, Ford Amphitheater, and it was with Yellow Wolf and 36 Mafia.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
Dude, that's
So
incredible.
there's a lush history there. And sometimes I realize like I've always been like I told you guys before we got on camera, I've always kind of been in the shadows and never really told the story because I've always been a believer in like the people's champ, the people will tell the story. But for some reason, the time without social media and me being so like obscure and also like super like in the shadows type of thing, I've been at the point where I'm like, I'm going to tell my story so people at least know it happened, you know?
Yeah. Well, I want to kind of hark back to like when you first discovered this and like how a creative is creative. So it's very important. Like martial arts is its own art, right? Martial
Sure.
arts, right? And then you have music. And there's something to be said when you're expressing yourself in your own way and it's being validated. Talk about those feelings of, you know, it's so interesting because it's so different than anybody else who's not creative, right? Because
Sure.
like everybody clocks in, they're very transactional, they're doing a job, they clock in, clock out. Talk about like doing something you truly love and like putting pen to paper and writing something that people just fall in love with.
Sure. I'm going to talk about it from a little bit different of a lens. It's really scary, right? Like when you leave the corporate world and you're depending on your art and your mind and your resources to provide, it's really scary. But there's something really powerful in diving in, and it changes the way you view things once you take that risk and dive into that. And if I'm being honest, like connecting with people through music where they're like, hey, this song changed my life, or this performance, or this, that, and the other, it's actually hard to explain because it's almost like a chemical reaction happens in your brain, you know, euphoria, adrenaline, all these things on stage. And there'll be moments, and I don't really talk about this. I don't think I've ever said this publicly, but there'll be sometimes I write a song and I'll re-listen to it and I'll tear up because I know what it means to me. Right. And I'm thinking about one person connecting with this piece of music like it connected with me. And I just get emotional. Like, and I'm always like trying to be masculine and stoic. But in those moments by myself, like there's something about the music that I know I was like, I don't care what people say. There is a reason and purpose behind this. And that is just like, it's almost unexplainable. And that's what happens now in my reaction videos. Like I'm reacting and having these feelings that people had listening to this music maybe 20, 30, 50 years ago. And I'm having this experience now in real time because I did not grow up listening to rock or country. And that's a lot of the stuff I react to. And so there's a parallel there as well. Like it's just, I don't know, it's like a euphoric thing. Music is just, it's a special thing. It really is magical and it brings people together. So
yeah, man, that's so true. And it's so interesting to me, especially like in music, because like we talk about so many people who've tried music and not people have been able to get to that level of like playing shows like at that level.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's so many who could have played at that level, but maybe it was just one connection they didn't make, or this, you know, person they didn't meet, or whatever it might have been.
Well, and there's thousands of people who are making a career that we don't even know of off of music. So there's that too.
So because of technology, in my honest opinion, music is way oversaturated. So the barriers to entry were so large when it's like, hey, you have to be able to play an instrument. You have to be able to afford these microphones.
It got chiseled away slowly.
Slowly but surely. So
now it's AI completely.
Bruh, that's just crazy. But with those barriers to entry now, with so many people active in music, the one thing people forget, because when you read self-help books or business books, a lot of the fundamentals is keep going, learn, keep going, learn, keep going. And I believe that in music partially, but for there to be an Eminem, for there to be a Drake, for there to be these like crazy things, there's timing and luck, right? And so as like a business person, you can't bet on timing and luck. Like you can try to create things that help your chances to have some more timing or luck or opportunities, but essentially like at some point in my career, I started attacking it from more of a business side because, well, the one thing I think is left out, because artists are so quick to get on that stage and be like, look at me, I made it. If I did it, you can do it. And if I'm being honest with myself, that's a little fluffy, you know, because there is a big component of timing and luck, and that's what makes things special. Because anyone can be a rapper and maybe make, 30 grand a year. Cool. Got it. Fundamentally, we could probably get someone like with business structure, we can go, but to become a Drake, to become an icon, to become an Eminem, like not only does it take talent, it does take timing, luck, opportunity, all these things. And, you see it in the conversations. Fat Joe wishes he would have signed Eminem, but he didn't. And the timing and luck went with and you saw what was built from Dr. Dre. So I like to highlight that a little bit because I'm a dreamer. Absolutely. I am a dreamer and I have a huge imagination. So I believe you can reach your dreams, but it's not always in the form you might have visioned it, right? Like I should be sitting here, a multi-platinum rapper, a gold rapper talking about, this is my rap career. I'm more of a platinum YouTuber at this point with what I'm earning. Like I'm like a platinum YouTuber. And I'm like, ain't that some you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just how I process it.
Yeah. Do you feel like, and we're listening to some of your music earlier, and we definitely see like a level of maturity throughout, decades worth of music. Sure. How do you look back in your music and see like the decades and how they kind of break up as far as music's concerned with your music?
I cringe. I cringe.
I cringe at my old shit too. I can't go back and listen to anything I did like when I started.
So the honest fact about me is I've kind of been somewhat of a ladies' man, just kind of out there, whatever. You hear it in the music, like just, and I never did this. I'm just giving an example. I'm coming from the era of Jay-Z and Fabulous pouring champagne on women's heads in music videos. Yeah. So like there's this braggadocious thing that carries over and you're just like, I'm this, da-da-da. Now I have daughters to show for that. And now I'm like, oh, dog, what the hell was I thinking? What was I saying? So like when I look back, I love it because it's a time capsule of where I was at. So we can see the growth. And some of it's embarrassing. Some of it I regret. Some of it's cringe. But there's some amazing stuff in there too. You see the glimpses of like the compassion, the consciousness, the heart. And then also you get to see, how dedicated I was for such a long period of time, in a harder era. Like I had to pay so much more to find a producer, find beats, record. You just get on the internet. Oh, I downloaded this beat for free. I can rap into my phone. I didn't have that. I had to go the extra mile. So to see me put out this much music throughout this span of time, it means something to me. And I'm proud of that overall.
Yeah, no, I think you put that really well. Like I'm glad you elaborated on that too, because, like that's exactly how I feel with my music. Like there's those small, like little ones that you just like, those are awesome. Like I love
the
those
glimpses of the light.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of, there's a lot of grind that goes into that. Like I started out downloading beats, yes, but I wanted to learn how to make the beats. So I really studied music theory. I studied all that. I learned the guitar and all that stuff and like learn how to get into the beats production. And there's some grind that went into that. So it was like that dedicated a decade to it. So it's like there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that. And so it was not easy walking away from it, but it was kind of easy because I found a different passion that I loved, which was video production.
And a lot of times it intersects. And
yeah, it does, yeah.
When you put that much time in, I correlate everything to martial arts. And so like, I have my black belt in rap. And currently I'm trying to get my black belt in jujitsu. You know what I'm saying? But I have a black belt in rap for sure, So I'm proud of that. And, there's different levels. Like I look at M&Ms and Tech Nines. I'm like, okay, there's levels to this, I'm not above myself. You know what I mean? But I'm confident enough to say I have a black belt in rap. So
what's your game plan if you haven't already, to show your girls your music? Is there a game plan surrounding that? Have they listened to it already? Or?
So this is what's cool. Just recently, so my daughter, my eldest, has just grown up around all this. She's seeing me perform. She's jumping on stage. And when I was young, I was super shy. I would be so intimidated by the stage. But one day she just jumped on the stage, like at the 3-6 and Yellow Wolf show. She jumped on stage and my last song is like doing the hand side to side with me. So she is something else. I don't know what she's going to be, but we've just recorded a song together that she's somewhat inspired. And it's a really good song. It's laid back. And I think that's going to be her introduction. And when they're teenagers, we can go back and laugh and be like, yo, daddy was a dog. He was this, that, the other, whatever. I don't want a fake version of me. Like even when I do YouTube, I know that people think I'm this thing, like this, it's like this polished version of me. And I'm like, mother effer, I have skeletons in my closet just like anyone else. So I just try to be very transparent and that's what you see in this day and age. A lot of times people's skeletons come back to bite them in the ass because they're, I'm squeaky clean, I'm this. And if you have an opinion online, all of a sudden you're supposed to be perfect, So I just put it out there like, dog, I was on some bullshit. And, my wife knows that. And and I've worked on myself, but I want to be very transparent with my kids because, when I look at where society's going, I'm I want to try to get them to where they need to be, right? Whether it's, marriage, businesses, whatever they want, I just want to try to help and be, helpful. And I don't think me hiding stuff about who I truly was and I am is going to be helpful,
Yeah. How has having kids in the first place, how has that changed you and your career?
It's challenging. So it's the best thing that's ever happened to me because it's given me a drive, a motivation, and also it's so I personally believe having children is like the final stage of human development. There's something that happens when you love something beyond yourself. You watch them develop and you're helping be a part of curating life and you took part in creation, right? Like depending on what you believe God is, I leave that open to people, but the concept of God being able to create and that being bestowed upon us to be able to create, it's really powerful. And so like it's changed my life immensely. I think it's made me a better man. And I still really do focus on work. Like I'm still like super passionate about like trying to blow up on YouTube, trying to make this happen, trying to make my $1 million, like, but my children are just everything, so it's just this unique thing. And I think it's just, I don't know, it's just brought me closer to God. It's made me see a lot of different things differently. And I think it was the component I needed in my life. So, yeah.
Would you have had them sooner, or do you think it was the perfect time? You had them in your early or late 30s? Or
36. No, my daughter was when I was 38.
Okay.
So, that's an amazing question. I'm going to answer it this way. I'm 45 years old and I run out of energy in the capacity of when I was 25. Like wanted to play even like after working all day, doing jujitsu, doing this, that, and the other, using a lot of my mental capacity on business, even getting a game of hide and seek, you're just like, I want to, but I'm just, I wanted to. But when I was 25, it was not like that. It's like we're pulling all-nighters. We're rapping until 2 a.m, waking up at 4 to go work on a construction site, So there's a part of me that wished I had the young energy, but experience is the best teacher. I have wisdom and knowledge and information that this is the best time for me to raise a child. I have more patience. I just have a more level head. It's just the wisdom that I have. And even if it's not, like, oh, he's a genius, it's still a lot more common sense, a lot more wisdom. Like I was just doing really stupid stuff even until my 30s. I was like a man child at some capacity. You know what I mean? So when I think of that question, I'd love the energy from my 20s with my kids now. Like, let's go run and race at the park all day, keep up with them. But the wisdom and the guidance they need, it's perfect. So.
That's fair. That's kind of how I'm about to be 35 in a few months, and I've waited. I always knew I wanted to have kids later.
Sure.
So I've always wanted kids. But I'm the same as you. I'm like, I want to be in a place where wherever I was in my 20s, I was wild in my 20s too. I was like, I want to be far removed from that and like gain the wisdom and experience from that to like be more stable for when I bring that life into my life. I have all those things checked off and I feel like I'm fulfilled in whatever I need to fulfill back then. And then I'm able to like put myself into the position to take care of another life. And you can never be too ready, right? Life happens, right?
Yeah. And I wouldn't ever be like, oh, just wait. Cause my father-in-law is like, don't wait, just, but I will say this, when you're younger and if you're, you have ambition, the time to take the risk is when you don't have children, like it's a lot harder to maneuver. Like, so, I'm in like the more traditional situation. My wife's at home because of our financial position. She does the homeschool stuff. She takes care of the kiddos. But like before that, my wife was doing daycare. you know, she was taking care of kids. And I was seeing these people have kids and having to drop them off at 3 months old or 4 months old. And I'm just like, I couldn't imagine that seeing, you know, do you see what I'm saying?
Totally.
And so like, trying to figure those things out, it can get complicated. And the main thing is just get through it, right? There's no shade if you have to drop your kid off at 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Like, it's all good. Just, you know, be the best parent you can. But there is something to like having a little bit of a plan, because it's like, wow, like I couldn't imagine all the risk I took to get to where I'm at in my 20s trying to do that with kids. Because it's like, you have to take care of them. I don't know why you're expendable when you're in your 20s. You're like, I don't have to take care. I'll just sleep on my homie's couch. I'll figure it out. I'll take showers at 24-hour fitness. You can't take showers at 24-hour fitness and live out of a car with children.
Yeah.
It's not fair to them. So the risk you can take in your youth, if you're ambitious and you really want to get after it, that's the time. So be cognizant of that, because a lot of dudes take the risk and end up, you know, having a kid just off a wild night.
Right.
And so, you know, that's the one thing I was always cognizant of, is like, hey, I took the risk. I quit my job on a whim, started touring. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I made it work.
We're going to take a quick break to thank our sponsors.
Rain Tech.
Rain Tech is a trusted IT partner that keeps your business running smoothly.
From cybersecurity to cloud solutions and data recovery, they've got your back so you can focus on what you do best.
Learn more at rain.tech. That's RAIN.tech.
Savion HQ.
Is your back office chaos? Are you buried in HR, payroll, and financial guesswork?
Your passion shouldn't be a prison. Savion HQ is your fractional back office partner. We merge HR, payroll, accounting, and tax to bring order to the chaos and make your passion profitable again.
Stop the bleed, get your freedom back. Find us at savionhq.com or email at hello@savionhq.com.
Data Hubs is a compliance intelligence and orchestration platform that helps organizations meet the requirements of frameworks like ISO 27001, SOC 2, CMMC, HIPAA, GDRP, and more.
Data Hubs gives small and mid-sized businesses a premium compliance experience while cutting down the time, cost, and stress it usually takes to get across the finish line. Learn more at datahubs.com. That's DATAHUBZ.com.
Reveal Med Spa. Look and feel your best at Reveal Med Spas. With personalized plans that deliver real results, radiant skin, restored confidence, and natural rejuvenation.
At Reveal Med Spa, we see you. More than just aesthetic and wellness treatments, we provide a safe, judgment-free space where you feel valued, heard, and supported.
Visit RevealMedSpas.com.
I think it is literally just that too. We'll just double check. Book your next session at RevealMedSpas.com. That's RevealMedSpas.com. Fast Signs. From banners to vehicle wraps, Fast Signs delivers custom visual solutions to help your business stand out. Their team ensures your message is clear, bold, and effective. Get your signage needed handled at FastSigns.com. That's FastSigns.com.
Dream Accounting Solutions. Take the stress out of managing your books with Dream Accounting Solutions. They provide reliable expert accounting services tailored to small businesses. Simplify your finances at dreamaccountingsolutions.com. That's dreamaccountingsolutions.com.
Exponential Impact. Exponential Impact is driving innovation and entrepreneurial success in Colorado Springs. Supporting startups with mentorship, funding, and community resources, they help businesses grow and thrive. Learn more about their impact at exponentialimpact.com. That's exponentialimpact.com.
And now let's get back to the show.
I want to talk about YouTube.
Let's get it.
And how it's kind of pivoted in your life. And by the way, 550,000 or 560,000, whatever it's at right now, it's a lot that you have on subs on YouTube. So congratulations on that. But let's talk about how that all formulated and how you got into that space as well, because it's a super interesting story. And obviously Andrew and I are super excited to hear about that too, as being fellow YouTubers as well.
So similar to a lot of people in the space, a lot of people started in 2020 because there was nothing else to do. And in 2020, if people didn't know, so I transitioned from rap to throwing concerts. My mother got really sick with cancer and I didn't want to keep touring. So to stay home, I took a chance and threw a concert with my buddy at Union Station in town. That was the first place we threw like open mics and freestyle rap battles. And it started to work. And I actually started making more money throwing concerts than I ever did touring. So seeing that, I've always been someone leans into things at work. So I started throwing concerts. As I started throwing concerts, I got good at it. and started making a really good living off of throwing concerts. And we've brought T-Pain to this town, Kid Ink, like you name it, we've done it on an indie level. Like, you know, me and my homies, either the homie Chris Copeland or my buddy Travis Reagan, like we put in a lot of work, you know, and got a very successful concert company. Well, the pandemic hits and they pretty much ended concerts. Now, I found my way through the Springs market being able to throw concerts lightly in comparison to other people. I've always been innovative. So I turned our venue into a restaurant. And when they reopened restaurants, I started throwing concerts again. So it helped me stay above water. But I just saw everything go digital. And me and my buddy started recording in this office in Denver. I started driving up every Tuesday to record our podcast. And first off, we didn't know what to talk about. So we're interviewing wild people. We're talking about culture war, politics, whatever. And, you know, that's how it started. 2020, the pandemic. And I realized a lot of people started in 2020 because of that, just being locked in, not being able to do anything. But essentially about a year of just talking on YouTube and uploading it. You know, we tried to put out one video every day. We reacted to something and I didn't know it was a reaction at the time, but I played Harry Mack for my buddy. And I was like, remember when we used to freestyle? And I just noticed, I was like, why did this video get 1,500 views and these videos are getting 50 views?
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And, you know, I kept reintroducing, and then I'm passionate about freestyle rap. So I start talking about my history. I start talking about Idea and Scribble Jam and Harry Mack. Then we start freestyling and we start developing a following from freestyling and reacting to Harry Mack. When my buddy had to leave and I didn't have a partner to talk to, I was struggling. I was like, I don't know what to do. And then one day, I think I played like a Beatnuts song on a live stream and I started talking about what it meant to me. People were like, you should listen to more music on your channel. And little did I know that's when my channel started to become a reaction channel, a music reaction channel. And that's kind of like the inception of how that started.
That's incredible. And it's not just like hip hop at this point. Like now it's all types of genres, right? So talk about that as well.
So it's funny because it was all really hip hop based because that's what I knew.
Yeah.
And so people are coming to my channel for my expertise. But I'm just a curious person. And I started reacting to just comedians, anything under the sun. But the thing that really got me, and it's one of my biggest solo reactions, was the Charlie Daniels Band, The Devil Went Down to Georgia. And I had never heard that song, let alone see them perform.
Not even in a movie before?
Not that I remember.
You probably like, yeah.
You know, so what I've realized is music is sometimes background noise to your life. And my reaction channel allows me to put it to the forefront and pay attention. Because I'll be at the gym, I'm like, they're playing Tracy Chapman. I thought I've never heard this before, you know, until I did but I know it because I did the reaction. So it's always been kind of background noise.
That's awesome.
Just, you know. So I did that reaction and people just loved it. And I enjoyed it. I just enjoy, like, as I've matured, I'm more open. I wasn't open to listening to country or rock music or polka or whatever. I'll listen to whatever for the most part, you know, now, but I wasn't mature enough. So essentially, I noticed people like that and I had a good time. And what happened was I'm just curious and I started listening to stuff that kept driving my curiosity. And right now on my channel, I'm in this really deep phase of like classic rock reactions and old school country, like outlaw country and stuff like that. And I'm loving it. And I think people are loving it because they're getting a perspective of an outsider, you know, and they get to relive certain things. And I don't know. Sometimes I wonder why because I'll get kind of ratioed sometimes when I get something wrong, you know what I'm saying? But I think people just enjoy. I don't know what they enjoy about it, but they show up. So I'm just a curious person. So I enjoy checking the stuff out. So
that's awesome, man. Have you found like new favorite artists in different genres? Like you're like, oh man, now in country, I have these favorite people that I listen to. And have you been able to kind of find Mount Rushmores in different genres or anything like that? Or
I just did this reaction on Saturday and it truly at some capacity has changed my life. I listened to Pink Floyd, The Dark Side of the Moon for the first time in its entirety from start to finish.
Were you watching Wizard of Oz?
No.
Because that's a myth. I don't know if you know about
Everyone said that in the comments. So I released it. I released it in my membership and they're like, you got to play it with the Wizard of Oz. I'm like, what the? Like, bro, like it's always something. Like you can never get it all right when it comes to reactions, you know? But I have heard that. So that might be something. But I don't know. Like I'm just at this point where I've never really appreciated instrumentation the way I probably should have. and just the appreciation for the story that was laid out in its entirety in that album, the way it was laid out, just the detail, the ear to detail with the sound effects, just everything. I don't know. It kind of shook my world. And also when I'm in that room by myself, I kind of just open up at another level. Like I let it take over. It's not just like, even when your friend gives you some music in the car and you're like, dang, this is a banger. It's not the same when you're in your room listening, like, and just all attention. There's no cars passing by, someone knocking on your window, can I clean your window? None of that. It's just you and the music. And there's something special about that. And yeah, like, I don't know. It really, I've never really taken substances like that, smoked a little Mary Jane, but I understand that some of that music was created, on substances, but I'm just being honest. It made me feel like there was a natural high that I experienced in that reaction that doesn't always happen when I do reaction videos. And it's so new because I just recorded it just Saturday. I'm still feeling that. So being able to talk to you guys about it right now, it's like very fresh in my mind, and that feeling that I got listening to that full album. So
that's incredible, man. That's so cool. I always think that music is one of those only things out there that's like a natural stimulant to bring people together.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting. I feel like if we were to ever have a world peace, it'd probably have to come through music in some way, shape, or form, right?
And you said something really good, stimulant, because I don't know if you guys ever felt this way, but if you're listening to like something really aggressive, it makes you feel like you can bench press more, and you're like, I didn't. So it's really cool. It's actually definitely a stimulant at some capacity. At least good music is.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so interesting. Like, I love how you've gone into music, because like, you're right, all the instrumentation is huge, right? Like I remember I took a music appreciation class like 20 years ago, and I didn't really care. I just took it for a credit, fell in love with it, man. Like going way back. And I don't know if you gotten like way back to some of your reactions, like way back to like Beethoven and that time.
A little bit, but not yet. Like I'm like 50s, 60s, 70s type stuff. Even opera I've checked out, but I think that is a wave. I think I need to check out some Beethoven, what Mozart, like all this stuff, and you know what I'm saying? So we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, and a lot of them were intermingling. Like I think Mozart and Beethoven knew each other.
Oh,
and
really?
Like one was a mentor to the other.
That's
I believe
crazy.
so. I think Mozart was a mentor to Beethoven.
Yeah.
Mozart actually, he was super famous after he died, but he lent all of his like insights to Beethoven. So Mozart's never really he refused to play for like the royal family, whatever time that was. And so he died poor, like on the streets. Beethoven actually leaned into like playing for the wealthy.
He actually, I think Beethoven set a record of like having the most people attend his funeral or something like that.
Really?
Something
Oh,
like
really?
that. There's some kind of record for that.
That's wild.
I'd have to double check that.
See, and that's what's cool. Like there's so much history just in these storylines, and so much to be learned. And it's really, sometimes I think about how bad it is in the sense of when I was raised, like prioritizing only the vocalist and lyrics, right? With hip hop, we prioritize vocals and lyrics. There's no jam sessions in a Dr. Dre beat where,
right.
And I think, I'm just learning, and, it's really, I don't know. It's weird because if you got this from like a Gen Z homie, it seems more realistic than from a Gen X homie, which is myself, but it's just kind of like my parents were super Christian. They listened to mad gospel and Christian music in the house. And then they listened to soul. My dad loved soul music, a little bit of funk,
That's awesome.
disco, but it wasn't like Led Zeppelin. Like he wasn't wanging the Beatles. Like they just weren't, you know what I'm saying? So like, there's just a whole open space that I'm just like, oh snap, this is fire.
It's actually crazy. At the time, I think Beatles were, to a lot of people, were considered devil music. It's kind of crazy. It's like, you look at them now, it's like a lot of their shit's like bubbly.
No, absolutely. Well, I thought even like Black Sabbath, I was like, just the name, I'm like, oh,
the
this
name
is
will kind of.
But then when you start diving into the music,
It's
you're like,
beautiful.
you're like, this is, and that's what's funny. I love my mother to death. R.I.P. This is not any, but she was like the Water Boys mom. That's of the devil. Like, yo, I couldn't watch the Smurfs. I couldn't watch Thundercats. The video games, we had Bible adventures on Nintendo. So like it was like she was on that, and I'm glad because it gave me this fundamental things to go back to, even though I was the prodigal son and left and had a really wild lifestyle. But it was good. Like I think balance is always the best, but it was good. It was what I needed. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, she was very strict.
How has that discipline, obviously coming from a military family, from that same upbringing, really helped you in the business world, especially like, I mean, through your rapping career and now going into your YouTube career? How, I mean, that's the one thing I always hark back with all these business owners that we always are talking through with is discipline and really having the behavior traits to build a business and be consistent and stick through it
Yeah.
to the end.
You know, in hindsight, I didn't realize what my parents were building. There was a moment in time where I almost, you know, you go through that rebellious, I hate you stage. Well, I graduated high school and their whole thing was like, if you go to college, you can stay in the house for free and we'll pay for college. And I was like, I'm not going to college. Like it just never was on the bingo
For me
card for
too,
your
yeah.
boy Black Pete. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, nah, that ain't happening, homie. So I started paying $350 a month the moment I graduated high school and turned 18. And I had resentment, but it taught me independence. And little did I know the martial arts training and my dad being in the military instilled discipline in me. And in hindsight, I think in a lot of the newer generations, that lack of discipline and creating routine and habit is why they're not reaching certain finish lines. And there's also like a sense of entitlement at some capacity, but it's not about generations necessarily. It's about what your environment is. All environments have been created to become more comfortable. When I was young, I had to roll up the window. We had no AC in the house, no AC in the car. That's just what it was in the 80s and the 90s. Now every car has a backup camera. So like with the addition of comfort, people react to it differently. And hard work in martial arts, in work, that discomfort you feel when you get kicked in the face, when you get choked out, whatever it may be, you learn to form habits to become resilient to that and also become disciplined so you can overcome losing and stuff like that. So I just think overall, the blueprint to create a winner, it takes a lot of discipline, habit, things that are forming good habits. And a lot of times I've noticed in society in general, we'll rely on our emotions. And that happens to me at times where it's like, hey, I feel inspired today. Let's get this money. I feel motivated. But it's when you don't feel inspired, when the routine, all right, well, let's get in the bunker. That's why I call my recording studio. Hey, money day. Like even when I'm not feeling it, I hit the wall. It's just my habit and my routine. I rely on my routine and not my inspiration, not on people like, oh, I watched Tony Robbins this morning. I'm ready to attack the day. Nah, homie. Like I'm attacking the day regardless. And yeah, it might be a little lackluster today because I'm not feeling it, but at least I did it. And so I think there's something important on creating like a routine that even if it sucks, you just do it. You just do it. It doesn't matter. You just do it. And that just makes it just helps in general and that helps all aspects of life, not just business, but business especially. So that's what I think.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, like you said, it happens in so many different facets of life. If you instill discipline in yourself, like you're talking about a good business, but also like a good diet or exercise routine or whatever it might be, like doing the hard work. Like there's something to be said about coming out the other side of that hard work and seeing the progress behind you that so many people are just not seeing because they just want to take the path of least resistance, right? And it's hard to see that from folks, you know. And it just, and I'm of the same understanding of you too, of like it's not necessarily a Gen Z thing or it's like an every gen thing.
Yeah.
Those folks who are taking the path of least resistance, they're going to have a different path when they're 20, 30 years down their career versus you who's doing the hard stuff.
And there's a balance to seek because the path of least resistance, if it equals efficiency, that's all good. But just, you know, dwelling in these like comfortable places, it just doesn't make you resilient. And that's what we're all going to need. AI's coming up. Like there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the world, a lot of instability. And to keep your head on straight, just to keep your head on straight, you have to put yourself through the fire. And I think when we're dealing with a lot of these mental health issues, that might be beyond a person. That might be a little bit different of a war. But if you can get some of these fundamentals down, it might help with some of that mental health stuff that we're dealing with. That's a whole nother can of worms. But I think, you know, we see it, it's more prevalent. So it's like a conversation that needs to be had and, you know, directed at some capacity.
Do you think, when you kind of hitting on that, do you think like with so much stuff hitting us nowadays, social media, AI, all these trends, all this craziness in politics, all this stuff all the time, do you think it has a negative effect on our psyche if we choose to kind of open the aperture and try to feed all of it in? Do you feel like there's like an information overload happening? What do you think about that?
I think it can have a negative effect. You know the concept, ignorance is bliss. Like sometimes I will see a homeless person just like chilling, happy, not giving a flying F about anything while I'm like over here and I'm like, I have a good life and I'm stressed to the max. And sometimes I just have to sit back and analyze like, why is that? And so when you're trying to create a diamond, right, there's a process of pressure. And I think that's good. But I also think it gets imbalanced when you can't take a step back and just enjoy certain things and visualize things. And I do think, social media preys on our weaknesses because you see for the times you see the lovable, amazing thing. Oh, the father got home from war and saw his daughter for the first time and it made you cry. For the one time you see that, you see 10 car crashes, 5 shootouts, 3 tornadoes, a crypto crash, a banking outage, you know what I'm saying?
And by praise on your weaknesses, it means like you don't even necessarily want to watch it, but you can't look away. It's like right there.
Yeah.
And so that's a weakness right there.
It preys on like these fundamental things that are installed in us as humans that's even primitive. If we talk about from a man's aspect, like in our DNA, most men see a woman and beyond like being just like totally lustful, there's a calling in our DNA to replicate ourselves with women that look a certain way because they're going to be able to sustain having a child easy or nurture the child because of, these different things. And it's like these things are put in your face. And not only are they put in your face, when you really study it, a lot of it's put in your face on purpose. They're targeting women because of, certain consumption of certain things. So they're like, oh, I'll put, and so it just is what it is. I think, trying to take a break from these things is very important. And that's coming from someone who's on the freaking internet every single day. Like I'm always recording, bro, every day.
You're doing it right now.
Yes. But I even tell my daughter this, it's always important to create more than you consume. That's one thing I've told her, and she even knows it by heart now. And she'll close her little iPad and be like, Dad, I'm going to go draw or do this because you said I need to create more than I consume. And so like when I'm creating on YouTube or whatever, I'm trying my hardest to not just get stuck in like the scrolling. So
that's a really good lesson. I really like that. Create more than you consume. That's beautiful because even like I look at my own life, I'm like, I have to write every morning before I consume all the stuff that I'm trying to consume. And it's a challenge today, especially like in our generation of folks who have like grown up in this whole thing where we grew up before social media and now we're being hit with it. And it's just like a whole nother life that we're living post social media. Right.
Yeah.
And so, I just want to really highlight on all those things and how that trend has really happened with social media specifically. I think, you becoming a YouTuber and really rebranding yourself this past 5 years, 6 years has been super interesting to hear. But I also want to know, like, what goes into building that? Because yes, you leaned into the reaction videos, but were there times when you were having a lot of reaction videos, not getting so much count? Talk about like some of the tribulations you've been through as a YouTuber.
Yeah. So,
and would you call it YouTuber? Because sometimes some people take that as a derogatory term.
I like it. I'm a YouTuber. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I'm like, so I lean into all of my weaknesses, right? My bald spot on my head, my scoliosis, me being a 45-year-old YouTuber sounds insane. So we started out, I won't, to dodge the curse, I'll spell it, but the 40-year-old FUQ boys, as, just like, like we're just going to lean into, whatever. And so like, I don't care, but there were mad barriers to entry because I didn't understand what I was doing. And now I understand what I'm doing so well. It's like a really well-oiled machine, but everything from like, even reacting, like taking everything as a joke. When we got on, everything was a joke. We're trying to find the funny parts in every song instead of like really listening and being like, wow, this is impactful. This meant this. And so like you learn as you go. Also speaking on camera and communicating to people who aren't in front of you because there's a camera there. There's just all these things. It's a muscle. Yeah, it's just like working out and you develop it. And so there's so much that has happened. And like even me, so for my niche, what's really hard versus what you guys are doing, creating original content, me reacting to someone else's content is copyright claims. And so me being able to navigate that system, understand the copyright claim system and getting it down to a science where it's like, hey, these record labels are reaction friendly. Let's rock. These artists are reaction friendly. Let's rock.
And there's fair use.
Yes. And so fair use should cover everything, but it doesn't matter because the way the system is benefits the labels, but there are some labels that rock with you. And so that was something I had to navigate through very dynamically. On my channel, I created a membership because this allowed me to react to stuff, but also people support because they want you to react. But I'm like, bro, I'm about to quit reacting. I got kids. So like, I'm not doing anything that I'm not getting compensated for at some capacity. I do charity, and when it's time for charity, let's get it cracking. But when it comes to time for me to show up, every moment of my life is for my kids. So if I'm not getting compensated, I'm gonna quit reacting. I would have no problem getting on here, starting a podcast, doing whatever it takes to be done. But there's little nuances that I discovered and was able to keep reactions going because you can prioritize certain things and maneuver things, and then the people in my membership supporting. And then I haven't even created a Patreon or anything, but there's ways to do it so you can activate and do it more of a, because it's pretty much a full-time thing for me now. But when I started, it was just like, oh, we just having a good time. Like, this is great. You know, now I'm like, hey, I need to concentrate on this because it's grown so much and it's only going to grow bigger. So I'm concentrating on that. I still throw concerts. And I own a recording studio in town, Mount Olympus. Have engineers that record people in the public. I have a podcast studio there as well. So there's just a lot of moving parts. I still have music royalties. I still release music. I still tour and do, well, I don't tour. I do shows from time to time. I don't want to leave my family like I did when I was younger. I'm not going to leave them. So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. I mean, it reminds me of like when we were talking to Matthew Beam and he was talking about like when they were finally scaling and like how everybody kind of started going into the fold. Like his family started working for him.
Yep.
And he had to like figure out roles. And all of a sudden, oh man, now I'm a manager or I'm an owner. I got to lead people. Then I got to build a people skill to lead a team.
Yes.
And talking about all these different things and these progressions that not necessarily you had to do, you know, when you're rapping. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but like those people skills is a whole nother muscle. We're talking about muscles and repetitions. Talk about that too, is like, you know, you're building this thing out and you're reaming this towel, you're doing all these things, and you have like a vlog style thing that you're doing as well, which is, it was super fun to watch that too as well. How do you build the skill sets for all those things as you go, as you're kind of, you know, jumping off that cliff and then you're building the parachute on the way down?
So I got lucky that I just dived into the deep end of the pool with my rap career. So that's what I did with YouTube. So for me, it really is experience is the best teacher, and I learn as I go. I don't have a college degree. I'm not a mastermind, nothing. I'm just resourceful. That's kind of like my superpower, is being resourceful and resilient. Like when MFers tell me I can't do anything, do something, I try my hardest to figure out what needs to be done. So like when we talk about, what's his name? Beam?
Matthew Beam.
Matthew Beam. When we talk about him, obvious I'm way further away from, let's say, the destination he's at, but I'm knocking at the door in some sense. So the things that I have going on, for example, I started a family vlog channel, and the genius behind this, in my opinion, let me pat myself on the back. But anyways, the genius behind this is this is going to be my wife's thing, right? And I'll still have a big hand in like the ideas, and I have people that do my thumbnails, you know, people that do the scheduling. But what happens is all of my family vacations are tax write-offs now because it's content. Us, you know, having a dinner, buying furniture, there's certain things that you can write off because it's a part of the content now. And then I can allow my wife to run that part while I work my commentary channel and my music reaction channel. The other thing is that I'm working on behind the scenes is some of the things that I've understood, and I've kind of put together a playbook, and that really works on YouTube. And I helped one of my buddies build multiple studios in Denver, and they're starting channels. And behind the scenes, I'm able to just deliver my playbook and get a percentage because now they understand how to make this work and what to utilize, like what to open the door and get to the destination faster, because they don't have to take the 2.5 years, 3 years of just up and down, like the BS, you know, and they can really tap in. So there's a bunch of different things that I see and I do. and I just kind of do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it's really experimental. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I didn't even know what a reaction channel was when I started doing reactions. One day I was like, I'm a reaction channel. People were like, yo, I love your reaction channel. I was like, what the f is that? I just listen to music and talk shit, you know? That was it. So, you know, something for everyone. That was the last thing on my bingo card. Like, I am like super passionate about creating original stuff. So for me to sit back and watch someone else's stuff and be like, hey, this is tight, and people like that, that's what you want from me. I'm like, y'all are crazy, but we gonna have fun with it. You know what I'm saying? So
talk about some of the times where it got hard and you didn't know what necessarily the next steps would be, and maybe it was just tough, whatever it might be, financially or not getting many views or whatever it might be. Talk about those times and like what drove you through those obstacles, because a lot of folks at home are going through that. Maybe they're a year in their business, are like, wow, there's no longer sunshines and rainbows like I thought it would be, like reality hits.
Yeah.
Talk about those times.
All right. So we'll talk about 2 times. We're going to go back to the rap world. I forget what year it was, but it was just the housing crash and gas went up to like $4.20. And my dumbass bought a used Land Rover that was 11 miles to the gallon. And I couldn't even drive to Powers to go see my girlfriend because I was so broke. And I was about 40 grand in debt, you know, from buying merchandise to sell it, sitting on merchandise, investing in my career, etc. And I don't know. I'm just a knucklehead. I'm just like, oh, there's some food here. We'll figure it out. Like, that's it for me. Like, it wasn't like I've never been like, stuff will hit the fan and it just never crosses my brain to do something extreme, you know, like where it's like, ah, man, you know, this ledge is looking lovely today. It's just not like, I'm just not wired like that. I was just like, damn, this sucks. This effing sucks. But every time I would just freaking keep going and maneuver. And around that time that I'm telling you that times were so tough, I started getting into throwing concerts. And throwing concerts, making the door money is what started to bring, like, that's what got me out of that debt. So, you know, I know college debt can be in the hundreds of grands now, but for me, being an independent rapper, having 30 grand was on a credit card, 10 grand was in a loan. So it was like, bro, like I got out of that debt relatively fast once I started figuring things out. Fast forward to now. And this is a little controversial. We won't get into the weeds of it because some of my stances and I've changed and even matured since then. But in 2020, I almost got banned from YouTube and I got banned from Twitter and almost got banned from Facebook because, you know, I'm just going to keep it real. During that time, you were not supposed to throw concerts and I did not have any other way of living. And there was just a lot of things that I was just, you know, I was kind of with the Rogan bros in that time. And that's just the honest truth. And me taking those stances, I got 2 strikes on YouTube, almost got banned. And that was when I just I was so scared because I didn't even know the power of YouTube. If I would have got banned, bro, like, and what's funny though, this is what's really interesting. All the creators that I almost got banned when all the creators that did get banned, they all just got reinstated this last couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. And so it would have happened, but God saved me on that one. And I'm glad he did. And also I learned when to pull back and also not be as extreme, because I can't lie if I didn't say the pandemic radicalized me. It definitely did. And that's just me being honest. And I've had a shift and pulled, and it's funny because Harry Mack and Ren is what brought me back to center, because Harry Mack was just such a good dude. I'm like, why am I always on the internet tripping about the pandemic? There's more to life than this nonsense that's going on in the world. Life isn't just a conspiracy. There is a lot of weird stuff going on. Calm the F down. But that was the darkest time. I was banned from Twitter, almost got banned from YouTube, and I almost got banned from Facebook for all similar stuff. And I toned it down. 90 days to get those strikes off. Go to whatever, they have a school for it. You have to go through on YouTube, whether it be copyright claims or, you know, policy claims, go to school for it. And then I realized that doing music reactions, I will never, for the most part, break a guideline. And I was like, I'm going to stick with this. And it's healthy for your mind, because regardless of where you sit with your ideologies, your freaking politics, it's not healthy. The polarizing, divisive state Americans are in with all of that stuff. And sometimes on my second channel, I'll touch the water, say something crazy. I'll keep you on your toes. But the reality is it's not healthy for your mind. And it's just not a healthy outlook on life and human civilization,
I agree.
regardless the side you're on. And so I try to pull back for my kids, but that was the darkest time and the scariest time, because I realized even back then, without making the money I make now, I realized the power because of the Google algorithm. And it's like one of the largest search engines. You can't blow up on Rumble or Twitch the way you can blow up on YouTube. Maybe if you're a streamer, Twitch, but it's just, and if you look, all these streamers are coming out with their money. And like this dude, Moist Critical, he made 1.3 million on Twitch. He made like 30 million on YouTube. So it shows you the power of YouTube numbers and the ad revenue and all that stuff. So,
wow. Yeah, that's super powerful. And I completely agree. I mean, you got Google, YouTube. I mean, they're the same.
Yep.
Google owns YouTube. There's the top 2 search engines in the world right there. And so, yeah, they do hold a lot of power. I actually was throwing tiny house festivals. And so I don't know if you know anything about tiny houses or anything like that.
A little bit, yeah.
But yeah,
I've looked at festivals for it. If I can't buy a house, maybe this is going to be the way. Sheesh.
Dude, I mean, my events were massive. Like tens of thousands of people attended my festival. And in 2020, I was going to plan my first one in Denver, in like downtownish area. Oh, yeah. And I was all in on it, got paid all in for all my vendors, sponsors, everything. Was starting to, put it together, and boom, the lights cut out and people wanted to get money back. So I'm like, I don't have that money. I was spending it putting on a festival. That's not going to happen, evidently. And even back then, if you guys remember, it was probably similar to you. It was like, oh, okay, well, we'll just, delay it a month or two. Oh, okay, we'll delay it to August or maybe September. So it was like that game that really killed me financially, because I'm like still putting all this money and effort and time into all these things. It never ended up happening, because nothing ended up happening in 2020 as far as our events are concerned, especially outdoor big events like that.
I remember we booked a huge tour for Chris Webby, and he was supposed to go out, and the whole thing got canceled because of 2020. Wow. My cruise got canceled. And, there were different politics in Colorado Springs, and that's what allowed me to start throwing events in Colorado. And like, if I'm just being honest, because I was thrown a lifeline, being able to throw moderate concerts. It wasn't these crazy ragers, but it got me ahead while everyone was just standing still. And that's a testament to what I talked about, that resilience and thinking outside of the box. So while everyone was going, so I saw it one day, it was like a Black Friday or something, I forget, but I went to a grocery store and I was like, it is more popping in here than our events. There is more people in this grocery store and this Walmart than there are at our concerts. Why can't I have a concert? And that's when they're like, hey, restaurants are open. I'm like, I'm going to turn the venue to a restaurant and throw concerts, and we'll just keep it safe. And that's what we did. And so while everyone stood still and was getting the money from the government, I was throwing events, getting the government's money from the people, because they had nothing else to spend it on. They wanted something to do. And it really helped me get to the next place, because now concerts are down, bro. I don't know if you guys seen, like, ticket sales are down, like, I think 40% as we speak right now. It was 20%, but the pandemic has obliterated, especially the independent promoter. Live Nation, AEG, they own real estate. They own concessions. They own a bunch of different things that makes it a different business model. But as an independent promoter, we have sponsors. Sometimes if we can get a bar cut, if you're lucky, but you have ticket. You make your money off of ticket sales. So, it's a lot there, but I'm not tripping. I'm always try to just push forward. That's all you can do,
You're obviously a super smart guy. And I think like your number one hallmark of an entrepreneur for someone like you is your resourcefulness. It just sounds like it's been the story of the whole thing. It's like you got yourself in a pickle and boom, you were resourceful and you pivoted and you did all this things to adapt and kind of move forward with it. Where does that come from with you? Where does that resourcefulness come from with you?
That's a good question. I didn't think I knew the answer to it. It's my imagination. Since I was a little kid, and sounds silly, I had this little yellow duck named Pete, and I would talk to him like he's the homie, And I just had a crazy imagination, and it goes into me making kung fu movies. Like, who the hell's making kung fu movies at 11 and 12 years old? And like choreographed, before choreographing was a thing. Made it our first set of nunchucks. We took a mop, cut the mop handle, and then took our dog's little chain, put nails in the tip, and made nunchucks and learned how to do nunchucks from watching Bruce Lee. So it's just my imagination. That's really it. It's not anything. It's just, I've always had this crazy imagination. And with that imagination has brought, all this different stuff, So yeah, I think that's the answer.
That's awesome. Robert, this has been, I feel like we can talk for hours and hours and hours.
This is good, man. This is fun.
We got to bring you back. You got to be like a recurring guest because this has been an awesome side to get to know you from.
Sure.
Thank you so much for what you've done and paved the way, and not just Colorado Springs, but just Colorado in general. There's some things that you've done. There's so many things that you have done that I didn't know before really getting to know you. And it's just so cool to see the people that you've been in contact with, the people you helped pave the way, or maybe even helped or give them a playbook here and there, or like you helped open up this studio there. Like it's super incredible, man.
Thank
so
you,
like
man.
kudos to you. This has been awesome. Andrew's been wanting you to come on for a long time, so he was super excited for you to come on.
No, this is dope. I appreciate you guys having me. And when I seen Matthew Beam on, I didn't know who he was. And I did the research, and I was just so excited that you guys were doing this here at that level, because I was just like, I understand YouTube. And when I saw Matthew Beam's content, I understood exactly what this is.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fire. And you guys had the ingenuity and the foresight to get him in, have the convo. And the one thing I tell everyone about this, I don't know how you guys feel about content, but this is what content is. It's digital real estate. If it didn't hit right now, it could potentially hit later. Never, ever sleep on what you're doing, creating content. Always save it because it has a value. It's literally digital real estate. And so, yeah, man, congrats, kudos.
That's awesome, brother. Completely agree. It's like an evergreen content strategy that's forever. People are going to go back to that Matthew Beam one or the Black Pegasus one in 4 years. You're so right. And it's going to monetize itself with views and all these different things. So thank you for, inspiring us, because now we have someone to chase too locally in the scene for what you're doing.
We'll have to network. We'll do some stuff together. Be tight. I'm with it.
Awesome, brother. Well, this is your camera. Where can we find you?
All right. I go by the name Black Pegasus. You can catch me on YouTube at Black Pegasus Raps. That's my main channel. From there, you can find everything. Typically, my handle is at Black Pegasus Raps. That's BlackPegasusRaps. And hey, thank you guys for rocking.
All right. Well, this has been the COS Business Podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next one.